Devon, so much of your work is around fatherhood, so I'd love to hear your comment on that also.
Absolutely, and I want to thank you for the question.
It's a good question.
It's a really good question, and like Blake was saying, I think that my question to the question would be, right, I would question the thought that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? That would be what I would inquire about, because that roots, that is where I see some of the problems with fathers, with young men, right? They get into an old school paradigm of, well, this is how I was raised. Mm. And even though there's an opportunity, there's an evolution of consciousness and opportunity to see something different, it's very easy, right, to kind of fall back into that old paradigm. And I agree that, you know, especially for fathers, I have a daughter and two sons. They are by far my biggest gurus. I've learned way more from them than anyone. And I think that one of the things is redefining what masculinity really is out here in the world. And redefining this patriarchal kind of system. And seeing what that means for our young men and our young women out here in the world. So those conversations happen very early in my home, but it also happens with a lot of the men I work with. And we start having real conversations, not from a right or wrong perspective. I think sometimes this thing goes left a little because people are so stuck in their ways that they're also listening from an old paradigm. So they listen from a right or wrong perspective, and that's where healing isn't allowed, because somebody has to be right and someone has to be wrong, and when that happens, everyone digs in. And for me, you know, coming from a space where I don't have to agree with you, but what we've lost, I think, recently is the ability to disagree without being disagreeable. And we're not getting curious on, you know, you talked a lot about trauma, but when someone acts out to, you know, and we don't like what that person does, what we're forgetting is everyone's innocent. They're all doing the best they can with the thinking they currently have. I'm not saying that their actions are right or I agree with them, but if you had that same thinking at that moment, you would do the same thing. So the lack of compassion and empathy to kind of have the dialogue and be able to see, like, open that up without a right or wrong, I think kind of steers us in the wrong direction. And as far as fathers, you know, I think a lot of the work is between really redefining what that looks like, and the difference between a real man, what we've called a real man, and a good man, right?